And we begin tonight at 11 with breaking news on the south side of Indianapolis. A shooting suspect injured tonight in an exchange of gunfire with IMPD. No officers were injured this evening. All of this unfolding over the last few hours. IMPD right now is giving us an update on the shooting. Let's go ahead and take you live to the scene so we can listen in.
But I don't necessarily know. That's more information that we'll get as we put the pieces of tonight, what happened tonight, together.
Do we know why that person was shooting outside of the window of a home across the street, or why they were shooting at the victim?
We don't, but as you look behind you, you've got crime lab out there, you've got investigators that are trying to get to the bottom of things. That may be information that we know later on down the road. I just don't have that information for you today.
Was the suspect who fired at officers the same person who shot the initial victim that you guys were responding to?
We believe so, yes ma'am.
And our audience is just tuning in. You said 2 children were in the suspect's home.
Yes ma'am, total 4 people were inside of that home.
Do you have a message? Do you have a message?
It's an apartment style home, I think the way that it's divided.
Do you have a message for the people in the community? Any takeaways?
My message is, you know, I understand tonight was a little chaotic, especially for this neighborhood. Everything is safe now. There's no loss of life. You're going to see law enforcement in the area for quite some time. Again, trying to put together the pieces of the investigation so we can put together a thorough investigation for both our officers, the other person involved in our community alike. Your officers do a phenomenal job, despite the odds and challenges that they face with staffing and the things that we're seeing in society. They're called to scenes to handle so many different things, and they do their best to handle those things. And they do a remarkable job. In this case, they were literally rendering aid when we believe that rounds were potentially fired. So, phenomenal job.
Last question.
Do you know how many shots were fired by that officer?
I don't have that answer. Again, the investigation will make that more clear as we do round counts and things like that. We'll have a better understanding of that later on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, officer.
All right, so as you just heard from IMPD, that everyone is okay. No officers were injured in the shooting. But what happened was officers were called here on a report of a shooting here shortly after 8 p.m. And when they arrived, they found a man with gunshot wounds. While they were trying to help treat that man, they say that someone started firing shots from an apartment-like house across the street. And that's when police say they took cover and returned fire toward the alleged suspect. That suspect was later found with a gunshot wound. And they also found that there were at least 2 children inside the home. That suspect was taken to the hospital and is in a serious condition at the hospital. The initial victim is in the hospital as well and is stable. IMPD says there is no ongoing threat to the community, and they're not looking for anyone else, and that there was a firearm found on the scene here. And again, no officers were injured. But as you just heard in that press briefing, they are very thankful that this could have been a lot worse, and it wasn't. No officers were injured, and right now the victim is still alive, and so is the suspect. So they are very thankful that this was not worse than what it was. Now, as you can see, that this is a very active scene here, and they are continuing that investigation, and they say neighbors should expect to see them here on the scene as they do that for upcoming hours. So if you are in the area, they ask that you stay away, make a detour, or just stay in your homes as they continue this investigation. Once we get more updates about the suspect and the condition and even why they were firing outside of their home, we will get that update to you as soon as possible. Scott, back to you.
All right, Logan Gay reporting live from Sumner Avenue and Harding Street on the south side of Indianapolis. We'll get back to her if we get more information. And we're going to follow this story closely for you in the coming hours. You'll see all the breaking developments tomorrow morning on Sunrise, starting at 4 o'clock. Well, tonight a teenager is now in custody after a shooting in Martinsville. This happened last night among a group of teenagers at an apartment complex on Main Street. A teenager was airlifted here to Indianapolis for injuries. Now, police say he is in serious but stable condition. The mayor told 13 News any act of violence involving young people is unacceptable. Police believe that shooting was targeted, but have not said what may have motivated it. Also new tonight at 11, a Lafayette woman was just convicted in a case connected to the shooting of a Tippecanoe County judge and his wife. A jury found Amanda Millsap guilty of all 3 charges against her: bribery, obstruction, and invasion of privacy. She offered a woman a $10,000 bribe not to testify in a trial. Millsap was not charged with attempted murder like the 4 others in this case. Her sentencing is now scheduled for April 27th. Judge Steve Meyer and his wife Kimberly were shot in their home back in January. New tonight at 11, 5 people are now charged with prostitution connected to 3 businesses in Noblesville. Police tell us the arrests were the result of a weeks-long investigation sparked by several complaints to the department. Officers made the first arrest March 18th at Comfy Foot Spa and Lucky Foot Spa. Then earlier this week, they made arrests at the Longevity Foot Spa, which is located on Sheridan Road. Now to emergency repairs at Union Station here in downtown Indianapolis. Preservation with a big price tag. This is a building that dates back more than 100 years and many eras, transportation only one of them. Tonight, our Alex Almanza breaks down what's breaking down and why something needs to be done right now.
It was America's first Union Station. Once the hub of a bustling downtown Indianapolis, is in need of some TLC, over $300,000 worth. This was the place everyone passed through, a gateway, gathering point, the pulse of Indianapolis. Now it's showing its age, a February storm punching through the roof, letting water seep through the building. Inside, the city says plaster is falling. City officials told 13 News we couldn't take our cameras inside for safety reasons.
It is imperative that we get this fixed because there are tenants that are currently operating out of that facility.
Last week, the Department of Metropolitan Development fast-tracked more than $300,000 to stop the damage. Even though passengers no longer roam the halls, businesses still use the space.
So the emergency repair is to take care of that roof leak and make sure that those tenants have a dry and safe workplace.
Since 2022, the city says it's already poured in $1.4 million for constant care. MDC documents show separate work to address other issues. Documents show the need to temporarily take active tracks out of service so crews can safely remove concrete at risk of falling onto the platform below.
Historic buildings need a lot of care, and so we are dedicated and committed to giving that care.
For now, crews begin the process of fixing the damaged roof. Before more water gets in, more plaster falls, and pieces of this gem surrounded by progress aren't lost to time. So where's the city of Indianapolis getting this money? Well, the MDC says they have an annual budget in which they can pull funds for emergency situations like this to preserve a historic building. In Indianapolis, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
Tonight, there are new developments following our investigation into an epidemic of fires at Indiana's oldest prison. 13 Investigates has learned the state of Indiana is now taking drastic action to try to prevent the types of fires that have been exposed by 13 News. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel joins us from the newsroom tonight.
It is, and it comes just a day after another inmate was badly burned yesterday inside a cell at Indiana State Prison. In fact, in just the past month, 2 inmates have been rushed to hospitals after they suffered terrible burns there. And 13 Investigates has been exposing how this problem, huge fires inside the old prison, has led to several deaths as inmates are literally burned alive. Now, we've confirmed the Indiana Department of Correction is for the first time taking what it calls countermeasures. IDOC told me this morning it started removing electrical outlets inside cells in D Cell House where many of the fires have taken place. The outlets are frequently used by inmates to light fires. In order to remove the outlets, IDOC had to cut power to the cell house. They are also doing what's called a shakedown, removing electronic items like TVs, fans, and hot pots from cells, basically anything with a cord that could cause an electrical fire. This afternoon, I got to hear what an inmate told his fiancée as he explained exactly what's happening inside the cell house.
At 7:20 a.m. this morning on April 8th, 2026, IDOC officials shut the power off to the entire cell house. We do not have running water. The toilet doesn't work. We are in the dark. Our lights do not work. They're going around taking people's fans, knowing that this place does not have air conditioning or proper ventilation. So when the heat comes, there's going to be heat strokes. So instead of fires, they're going to be heat strokes. They are blanket punishing the entire cell house for a few individuals that are smoking and getting high and causing fires as a result of getting high. Instead of targeting the individuals that are doing it, they're punishing everybody.
This afternoon, I also heard from the communications director at IDOC. Noel Russell told me the first order of business is stopping the fires. We are taking away anything that needs to be plugged in and needs electricity. While this might seem extreme, this is at least one route area where we know fires are starting. This is for safety and security, and we are going through this process as quickly as we can. She also told me inmates will be allowed to keep their computer tablets so they can communicate with their families. They just will no longer be able to charge those tablets inside their cells. She also said that inmate property that's being confiscated is being stored and it will be returned at a later time. Now, as you might imagine, this is causing tremendous frustration and anger inside the cell house. One of the inmates that I spoke to today, he described the prison tonight as a powder keg. Now, I'm told the commissioner of IDOC is there taking a look at exactly what is happening, and there are more changes, we are told, that are coming as inmates continue to recover from these recent fires and these changes continue to take place at the prison. We will continue to monitor it all. In the newsroom, I'm Bob Siegel, 13 Investigates.
The college basketball season just ended, and now players may be looking at new opportunities for a better chance to win or cash in. Tonight, we'll take a closer look at eligibility rules and why some college leaders want Congress involved.
Rain chances return for the end of the week. I'll have the timeline in your forecast.
Early voting is now underway across Indiana, and tonight we'll show you how one group is helping Hoosiers get ready. They're talking big races, rules, and the importance of involvement. All next.